the cloud. So we've been experimenting with the seminar series, different formats. We want to, this one is a roundtable. We are used to the presentations and also hands-on webinars. And today is the first roundtable. And I hope that today we have this open conversation and that everyone gets a chance to give their opinions about this this topic, that it's getting system dynamics into university programs. And I just want to start by asking you guys to put your first name, your last name, organization, and role into the chat, to the Zoom chat. We're going to soon move it to Miro, where we're going to have some post-its and we can play around with our opinions and have a discussion around the topic. So if you could just please start by putting your name, first name, last name, organization, and role into the chat. When we're together, it's always a good opportunity to give a shout out to all society sponsors. And if you'd like to sponsor the society, you can email us at office@systemdynamics.org. We can start a conversation from there. And just reminding, we are almost in 2022. We're starting another period of membership. Just a quick reminder of the benefits. We got free access to all society seminar series, discount on a conference, full access to the STR, a scientific journal, exclusive prices on our bookshop. If you're planning to learn more, if you need to learn more, System Dynamics, you have discounts on our online partners, online courses, and also access to the society mentorship programs. And if you haven't seen it yet, we have date for our next conference in Frankfurt. We finally meeting in person after 2 years. We're meeting from July 18th to 22nd, as I just said, in Frankfurt. So you can save the date for that. You have some information. Sorry, this is a mistake here, but if you go to systemdynamics.org/conference, you can find some initial information about our conference. And Megan, I think you're taking over here.
Hi, how are you? I wanted to give you a little context about how we decided to do this event. So we are looking to kind of get the feedback from you all and get your perspectives about the elephant in the room, the system of getting more system dynamics into universities. So this is something that kind of was born through a small team of us at the office and some volunteers. And we've been thinking about this topic for a while. And we have some projects going on simultaneously. And we decided to do this event to get a better understanding of what our members need, what your perspectives are, and start prioritizing the activities that we want to do before we really continue moving forward. And so we're, for example, pulling together curriculums for SD courses. We are checking out what universities have system dynamics programs or courses. And we are looking to put together a team to advance these projects and initiatives. So a university innovation team. And we'd also like to prioritize our focus and have a portfolio of activities that we're going to be moving forward on.
Can I skip the slide?
So yeah, you can move forward to the agenda. So today we are already going through the introduction, and we're going to have the second stage be an independent reflection on a specific question that was mentioned in our advertising of this event. And then you can all share your answers. One by one, we're going to go around the room and you can share your answers. And then we are going to cluster these into specific themes, and Fernando is going to do that. And then we are going to prioritize those issues that you identified. And then after that, we are going to prioritize the clusters, and that will help us get a better sense of how to move forward. And then we're going to close and invite you to join us in this university innovation team.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I'm now going to share my screen. So we're going to be working in Miro today. But we're going to do it a little bit differently than you may have experienced, because we're going to really be trying to all listen and hear what everyone in the room has to say about this. So Ricardo Salinas, who has been a big instigator in this effort as a volunteer, as well as Megan and I, are going to facilitate a process where we ask you to share your thoughts on this, where you think we should be focusing. So our question for today is, what are the issues, opportunities, and obstacles to increasing system dynamics penetration in universities worldwide? We want you to think about this whole elephant from your own perspective so that we can make sure that we're not missing anything as we think about the projects to prioritize. What we'd like to do is have you start first by thinking independently about this question and coming up with a few answers of your own, and maybe even a few strong opinions. They might not be yours, but opinions of someone you've heard, reflecting on this. We really want to understand this challenge and see if we can devote our resources in an effective way. And this is just the first step in this, is to hear from all of you. We're very pleased to have you. So if you could take a minute and just quickly write down your own thoughts on this. We're going to follow this with a nominal group process going through. Ricardo's going to help manage that so we can do it quickly, so that we can hear from everyone in this room rather than focusing on just a few voices. There are quite a few people here, so we're going to ask that you go very quickly. So if you can simplify your thought into 3 to 5 words so that we can easily get it onto this Post-it note and remember it, but also be willing to give us enough information so that we understand your answer to the question. That would be helpful as well, so that everyone can hear it and understand what is behind the yellow sticky that we put up here. So we'll be going around the room in order, and it's reverse alphabetical order unless you signed up late based on your first names, and Ricardo is going to be doing that. So spend a couple of minutes answering this question. What are the issues, opportunities, and obstacles to increasing system dynamics penetration in universities worldwide? If you just entered, we are thinking independently about this question that is on the screen right now. So if you could take a moment and write down a few thoughts, a few answers to this question, it would be appreciated. Okay, as I mentioned, we're doing a nominal group process. Ricardo is going to start us off by naming the first person. If you could be prepared to unmute yourself. For a lot of you, that might mean just pressing the space bar to unmute yourself so that we can hear you. If you cannot speak for some reason, we will be monitoring the chat as well. So if we can get you to speak quickly about it. I'm going to begin by trying to record what you say in 3 to 5 words on this Post-it. And if you can help us with that, that is going to be much appreciated. So Ricardo, can you help us with the first person?
Sure, Rebecca. So the first person will be Will Thiessen. Will, are you there?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ricardo, for this opportunity, because I have to leave early. I have jotted down four items, success factors.
Okay, and I apologize, Will. We're going to ask each person to just do one for right now. You'll get another chance when we come back around. But if you leave early, you can throw some things in the chat and we'll capture those as well. So just one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
One very important thing is support from the faculty and university top management, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so is the issue that we're not getting that, or it's hard to get, or?
It can be hard to get, and in order to get that, you have to also mobilize the support of important outside stakeholders, the people who will be employing your graduates.
Okay. Okay, Ricardo, can you select the next person, and Megan will record that on number 3, because I'm adding a second thing here, Megan.
Yeah, the next person is Sean Price.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so the question I'd like to, or the issue I'd like to raise is at what level is it appropriate for this to be introduced into university courses? My university is almost exclusively postgraduate, but I get the feeling that there are an awful lot of undergraduate-focused universities that might like to do that. So it's at what level is it the intervention best made?
Determining at what level are SD courses appropriate?
Yeah.
And I'm just capturing a slightly different nuance, which is helpful. A lot of undergrad unis might want this.
Okay, great.
But you can go, Megan, Ricardo.
Okay, the next person is Sandeep.
Yes, probably my hunch is like how can we make the system dynamics more acceptable across the practitioners who are working in industry, let's say. So in that case, we can pitch in, we can pitch in the universities that see system dynamics has a wide acceptance in industry. So it is good time to teach our students also system dynamics.
So I'm gonna change what you said a little bit, Sandy. Say that we not widely accepted enough in industry.
In industry, yeah.
And I'm gonna make this a red one, because I didn't really hear a lot of stuff here, but this is actually something, you know, I think that is a really big issue for us. We're not widely accepted enough in industry. So why would universities want us? And I think that might be sort of a hot button. So I'm just demonstrating here that there are a few things that might be sort of things we really need to dig deep and think about. Okay, next, Megan, you can take the next one, Ricardo.
Yeah, the next one is Sarah Metcalf.
Yeah, so one thing that I thought of was that system dynamics is not generally its own field in most places. So one barrier to access would be needing to find out where it's being offered or in what departments.
Okay. SG, not generally its own field, discovering what departments it's available.
Yep.
Okay, next one, Ricardo.
The next one, Rod McDonald.
Hello, thank you. I would say detailed teaching materials with answers for those not trained in system dynamics who want to teach.
Does this capture need teaching materials for those not trained in SD?
Yep, thanks.
Yeah.
The next person is Ralph Leopold.
Thank you. Just jotted it down, and it's about the hi, and thank you for the opportunity to make this happen today. The different disciplines have no idea what the value of system dynamics is to them in case they would apply or adapt towards it. It's just an overload of work for them at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
There are no connections seen between.
Yeah.
Unaware of benefits of SD to their discipline.
Yes, to their discipline and their own work, how they are measured by their superiors, by the institution. That's probably the most difficult part.
I captured what I thought was a second point of the fact that SD can sort of overload them.
Okay.
Okay, next, Ricardo.
Next person, Natalia Giraldo.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So I was thinking about showing the usefulness of system dynamics in practice. It's one of the challenges that we have.
Okay, great. And I just want to, as we're doing this, thank you, Natalia. So I've captured that as challenge to show the usefulness of SD. While we're doing this, if you guys could note the numbers of the issues that resound most strongly for you, we're going to give you 5 votes later on once we get through this, so that you can vote for those things that you think are the issues that most need to be thought about. So record those numbers so that you can do that more easily when we get to that point. And also, I just want to let you know that Fernando in the background, to speed things up, because we've got a lot of people and it's harder to spend so much time online. He's going to start clustering these for us now that we've got 10. So don't be alarmed when, oh, this makes it harder actually. Yeah, because you're, this didn't totally work out in this experiment. Anyway, so he's going to start clustering these. So they'll start disappearing on you. Don't get alarmed.
I'll make a copy, Rebecca. I'll copy
You're
them.
awesome. Okay. Perfect. Okay, next one, Ricardo.
Perfect. Next one, Mohammed is next.
I would say lack of enough trained instructors. And part of the problem is the majority of courses we teach are at MBA programs, and MBA students don't become professors. So the current instructors need to teach more PhD level courses, or in more departments that we train instructors so that we can solve the problem.
Great.
Okay. Lack of trained instructors, and MBA programs don't produce professors generally. But a lot of our SD programs are in MBA. That's kind of inherent in that.
Yep. Perfect. Ricardo.
Next person, Mir Mathur.
Hey, I just put it in the chat, but I can repeat it. I think the way universities create a curriculum, the subjects are seen in silos. So systems thinking, system dynamics may end up contesting or contradicting some other subjects. So that might create a problem for the students and for the universities.
Okay, great. So I've captured that as SD crosses university subject silos problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mahir.
Next person, Luis Pascual. Luis.
Is Luis still here? I don't think he's here.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can continue with Len.
Hi. Thanks for doing this. I find that SD is not in the standard curriculum as promoted by the accreditation boards. So in United States business schools, for example, the Association of Colleges and Schools of Business doesn't have an entry for systems thinking or system dynamics, something that we need to lobby for.
Okay, so I'm going to make 2 points on that. So SD and ST aren't in standard accreditation curriculum, and then lobby to incorporate SD/ST in accreditation process. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, next one.
Next person, Juliet.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. Just wanted, so I think in addition to the comments about, not fitting into a particular discipline or cutting across disciplines, I think the historical reality that SD is currently placed in management and engineering programs primarily, but doesn't fit in those programs in some cases. So for example, sorry if I'm making this two things, sustainability would be a great fit for SD. But we're not going to hire a sustainability faculty member from a management PhD program, for example. At least my university won't.
So I use system dynamics to study the sustainability incorporation in agriculture supply chain of India. So my PhD thesis was based on that.
Yeah, it's a great fit for sustainability research, but it doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't end up. Historically, it comes from, maybe just because of where Jay Forrester sat. Right, it was like a historical accident that he was an engineer sitting in a business school, and now we're stuck with that reality that does not fit. Most of academia.
Great, that's very helpful. This is new information to me anyway, which is very helpful. It might not be new to you guys. As you may or may not know, I'm not really from academia, I'm from practitioners. So it's very, very helpful to get your perspective, help us think about what to do. Ricardo, if you could give the next one, and I think Megan, this one is you.
Yeah, the next person is John Richardson.
John, you want to unmute yourself? You might be able to just press the space bar, or I can maybe find an unmute.
So the best way to institutionalize system dynamics is to become university senior administrators yourself. And you can do that from various disciplines. And then you're in a position to appoint people who may not be labeled with the system dynamics label, but who in fact are interested and capable of teaching it. But if you're not, and I would just say one other thing, which is use John Sturman as a model for how to save and institutionalize a program that might have been otherwise abolished.
Okay, so I made 2 points. Institutionalize SD by becoming university admin, and appoint those who are capable of teaching SD. And use John Sturman as a model for creating.
For creation and saving of a program. Yep. So thank you. That was helpful, John. Ricardo?
Next person, Jorge Sousa.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Thanks for promoting this. Well, I think everything has been said, so I would just say probably that I think we could find some practical examples to influence SD while teaching. Well, to give you an example, so when we are teaching strategy at the university, we talk about Michael Porter, we talk about the McKinsey model, and why not introducing also system dynamics as a tool to help strategy. If you want to talk about engineering courses, you are talking, well, civil engineering courses. You should have project management courses that could also benefit from using system dynamics as a method to improve project management. So those specific issues, probably we can, instead of promoting system dynamics as a separate discipline or something, we can introduce it as a complementary method to the others.
Okay, great, helpful, thank you. So I caught that as use practical examples, tools for strategy like 5 forces, project management, system dynamic stuff in civil engineering. So to try to capture that, it's a little verbose, but that's good, George. Next.
Next
And
person.
I'm sorry, before I do that, I'm gonna mark the one in red because there seem to be several reactions in the chat to that, just to kind of name this as something that people felt strongly about. And again, don't forget to keep track of the numbers of the ones that resonate the most with you, because you will be asked to vote.
Okay, next person. Jean-Jacques.
Jean-Jacques, is it Jean-Jacques?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong too. John, I know you were here. Are you still here?
Yes,
Oh, there you are, Jean-Jacques. Okay.
I wanted to know which are the people who are demanding about system dynamics, and what is the kind of demand, because we cannot answer a question that is not well explained. Who are the people? You are talking about the demand, the system dynamic demand. Which are the people or organizations who demand, and what kind of demand?
Right. So that's good. I think there's a very important question here about the demand. Where is the demand? We don't know where the demand is. So great, thank you. Next one.
Next person is JD Beckingham.
Hello, I've just posted my thoughts in the chat. There we are.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to say it or do you want me to read it?
I'll say part of it.
Okay.
We also need to think about integrating SD techniques, particularly as a part of other disciplines, as a tool, an analytic tool to be used by other disciplines. It fits very, very well with engineering, economics, social science, behavioral science, etc. We, for example, currently engaged in a activity which is looking at systemic structural racism, which is an extraordinarily good fit for the use of certain tools, techniques. Closed loop diagramming is a really, really great aid in what is a very complex set of domains. And they cover all of the areas I've mentioned in the chat. So look beyond SD as being the focal point, but also consider it as a tool which can be integrated with other courses. Another example is there are a group of people who describe themselves variously as business architects or as enterprise architects who analyze and redesign organizations. They would use the term enterprises. SD fits remarkably well with the tools and techniques used in that discipline. I apologize for this, we tend to focus too narrowly on SD, and in a way it deflects us from Forrester's basic thinking about SD, and in particular, and I've talked with some of you by email on this question of looking at why SD projects fail. That's a different question, of course.
Yeah.
That's the end of my comments.
Okay, thank you. So we've captured a few different ones here. Important to integrate as a tool for other disciplines. I just captured the CLD for structural racism. We need to look beyond SD to CLDs, which sort of duplicates the we focus too narrowly on SD. And I just captured the fact that enterprise or business architects, it works really well for them. You have a few other things that we could capture in here, but let's move on to the next person.
Next
And
person,
again,
Ilir.
yeah. Say that again.
Oh, Ilir
Hello,
Rodici.
I am Ilir Rodici.
Yep.
I will suggest to increase cooperation with other systems thinking schools, to have mutual programs at universities with them.
And when you not within universities, but with other systems thinking groups, can you name one or two?
To have some collaboration in programs and do in universities also some combined programs with other systems thinking schools.
Okay.
That might be too long of a description. I put increase cooperation between SD programs to have mutual or combined programs.
Does that capture it, Ilir?
Yes, I mean something like that in as a concept.
Great.
Basically, like you're talking also about like inter-university collaboration to kind of help build their programs.
Yes, some kind of penetration of system dynamics in starting with other fields, because other system thinking fields, because other fields are already mentioned, but by collaboration with other system thinking fields, system dynamics can have a broader, how to say, market, or a broader public to communicate, and also can somehow enable that system dynamic way of thinking is more knowledgeable for others, and also maybe in practice also used.
Okay, I put collaborate with other ST related fields to incorporate SD.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next person.
Next person, Gilbert Lovinsky.
Hello, everyone. I would say system dynamics challenges the power base and power structure of existing faculty, which somewhat touch on what Mr. Richardson mentioned earlier. So to the extent that other faculty sees their power base challenges, they would be reluctant to include system dynamics in the curriculum.
Great, thank you. Next.
Next person, Erda.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. I teach several topics JD mentioned earlier, economics, behavioral finance, and strategy. And I am relatively new to this space, but one of the things I'm going to do once I'm done with my researches is that at the Graduate School of Business that I'm just involved, I'm going to just put out a course which actually draws down sort of an interdisciplinary structure, just taking accounting that students actually take, finance and economics and behavioral, and all of them, and just like a couple of lectures in every single one of them, how to actually in a very narrow sense model these things. I think this is probably the easiest way to just basically get more and more people interested in just looking at modeling in this cross-disciplinary structure.
Okay, so a need to focus.
I think the okay, in a nutshell, I think the cross-disciplinary structure is what I think we should be concentrating on. This is, I mean, for my research, I'm using so many sort of these disciplines to actually just reach one single stock flow model.
Okay, I put incorporate more modeling in cross-disciplinary structure.
I think this sounds great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Erda. Next, Ricardo.
Next person, Eduardo.
Yeah, so I think theories in some areas, for example, in psychology, developmental sciences, which I am a doctoral candidate, are pushing towards a more system perspective and understanding of different phenomena that happen to people. But the faculty are not used to tools that can operationalize those shifts in those theories, coming from a Cartesian point of view to towards a relational point of view. That's happening in the field, but they don't have the tools. They don't know system dynamics exists as a tool, and they feel threatened also because they don't know the tools. So it's something that it's out of their reach. So I think like integrating or helping those faculty, knowing those tools can help them be more at ease with including that to accomplish this shift in at least developmental sciences.
Okay, so I've captured this into desire for more systems thinking theoretically, but the faculty are unfamiliar with the tools, and that makes them feel threatened. They don't know those system tools. Perhaps we can help them be more at ease. Okay, next.
Todd Bendor.
Todd, are you here?
Make sure your mic is on.
I'm just checking. He might have left. I don't see him here anymore.
Okay, if not, we can continue with Douglas.
Hello. My point was just made 2 points earlier, I think. So like Rebecca, I'm not an academic. I'm a practitioner, but obviously interested in what's happening or what's not happening in academia. So I think on the opportunity side, there does seem to be an increasing emphasis on the need for interdisciplinary studies, which require synthesizing data from across multiple domains. And that's something that system dynamics is particularly good at. So that then bumps into the issue that lots of people have raised about general lack of awareness of system dynamics. But I think the opportunity is on the interdisciplinary side. Thank you.
I put opportunity, need for interdisciplinary studies to cross domains.
And I just captured, this has been captured a little bit before, but I added in general lack of awareness about system dynamics, which has been said a couple of times. Just to clarify, if someone has already said your point, you don't need to feel like you have to do it again. You know, hopefully everyone will have at least one thing to add, but if at any point you feel like yours has been covered, you can pass. Okay, next, Ricardo.
Next person, Christine Tang.
Sorry, I've been distracted trying to take attendance, but I don't recall people talking about entering through industrial and systems engineering. I think I haven't heard that, but I could be wrong.
Okay, nope, I don't think so. So I'll capture that. Could enter through industrial and what was the other kind? I'm sorry, industrial and systems engineering. Okay, next.
Next person, Chris Brown.
Thanks, everyone. I'm building on Rod McDonald's point around having shared curriculum.
Some of the established fields in science have something called a concept inventory that allows them to test at different levels across different curricula. So a concept inventory for system dynamics, systems thinking at undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD level would be great. And this is something that came up in the K-12 space last year at the conference.
Can you explain concept inventory?
So the most famous one is a physics concept inventory. It's force concept inventory, and it's just a standardized test that people can give their students.
Okay.
But it helps to explicitly sort of say, what are we learning?
Great. Okay, thank you. That's helpful, Chris.
Okay, next person, Carl Smith.
Good morning. I'm I'm relatively new here. A couple of things I just want to point out. I've got was co-author on a 2001 article that's been pretty widely cited in supply chain management circles called Defining Supply Chain Management. And the very, very first words that that article starts with is a quote from Jay Forrester in his 1958 article. We use it to talk about the interrelationships between different parts of organizations and different organizations. So it's really near and dear to my heart. So for us in supply chain and stuff, what I see, there's two quick things. One is the possibility of going from the ground up, being able to provide models to say undergraduate programs. So again, we talked about the bullwhip effect and stuff like that, but models that are not developing models that are already developed that have variables that students can interact with to start to understand the system dynamics. So for example, we're trying to use AnyLogic and the AnyLogic cloud application to be able to try to provide some of those ways that students can start to see the relationships. And for me, again, it's really building that awareness through that type of material. So it's not talking directly, it's bringing in system dynamics and making sure students understand that that's a thing, but not necessarily having them have to create a system dynamics model right off the bat.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you say AnyLogic Cloud?
Yeah, we have an application called AnyLogic Cloud Lite. So if you're familiar with AnyLogic, which is also nice because it's multi-method, we're trying to create some models that we can put out on AnyLogic Cloud Lite that can include variables that individuals can adjust and see what the impacts are as a result of that. And very basic models. It's more to get an understanding of the relationships.
Yeah, okay, so interact, not just build models. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's an interesting point, is that we often focus on trying to get people to build them as opposed to just interacting with them. Okay, next.
Next one, Busra Tamer.
Hi, everyone. One challenge is faculty members coming from rather qualitative backgrounds can see system dynamics as a quantitative technique or set of tools. On the other hand, faculty members coming from rather quantitative background can see system dynamics as a qualitative methodology. So both sides can resist sometimes. I think that's one challenge.
Okay, I put faculty members from qualitative background may perceive SD as quantitative and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Okay, next.
Next person, Bob Cavana.
Thanks. Hello from New Zealand. I'm going to ask you a question here. This book, can you see this? Anyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, it's
System
called
Education for a Sustainable Planet.
Okay, how many people in this room today? How many people do we have here, Rebecca? How many people are registered today?
Stay here. Stay here.
What was your question, Bob? I missed your question.
Oh, the question is,
we have 48, Bob.
Pardon?
We have 48 in total.
Okay, 48. How many people out of 48 actually have even seen this stuff? This is available free online, MDPI. and it's who's actually seen it amongst the 48 here. There's a number of authors here in the book who are currently present. It's a special issue journal, but it's been converted to a book. There's quite a few people here like Mike Radzecki, John Richardson, to name a number who've got contributions. This book is just a collection, but it's not actually advertised anyway. How many people here? Can we do a quick show of hands at all? I mean, it's quite an important book. We've got people from all over the world, systems educationalists, system dynamics people who've contributed. I would say that my guess is that 10 people out of 48 here have even seen it. Okay, that's the point. We have to look at our own materials. Here's another book, Feedback Economics. You'll recognize some of those names. Mike Radzecki once again, Oleg Pavlov, David Wheat, Brian Dangerfield. The fact is that there's been some great outstanding authors, contributors. We have a lot of materials. Economics department, every economics department in the world should have this, and every cross-disciplinary department in the world should be aware of this. This is just a perspective. We need more materials like that, in my opinion, to put on the table and open doors. And I just want, I know I shouldn't dominate things, but in my opinion, system dynamics as to the academic world and the professional world as statistics is, except we're statistics plus. Someone just mentioned a minute ago, we go into the qualitative domain as well as the quantitative domain. We should be as well known as statistics in universities, and we should have chairs. That's full professorships. There's politics holding us out. In fact, all the points above are so good, I've stopped writing them down because they're all excellent points. They all contribute to our improved understanding and our role. John Richardson, as well, as I mentioned, is in this book here himself. Look, we've got this is. I applaud you, Rebecca, for taking this initiative. This is an excellent initiative.
Great, thank you, and we're really appreciating all your stuff. And just so you know, Megan has just recently joined us. She's taking notes now. Yeah, no, and I think I captured a few things there, but I just want to let you know that Megan has just joined us recently, and she is starting to get on top of promoting these kinds of books. I don't know if she, I know we have the Feedback Economics in there, and we've been promoting it. I don't know. If
I have not seen the systems education one, so I will be looking that up and including that.
So that's just a side point that, you know, we'll try to make it so that we can get a hold of these better. So next one, Ricardo.
Yeah. Next person, Brad Morrison.
Hi, Ricardo. Thanks for letting me get in. I already really put my idea in the chat. I think that one of the obstacles is that there's no clear connection between taking an SD course and getting a job. And that's my more specific version of the number 5 that's in red there. I will also toss a little conversational hand grenade as I'm exiting here to go teach, which is a process observation. I think we've heard some people who directly answered the question about obstacles and issues and opportunities. There's also a lot of what I've heard now that I would characterize as advocating for something we should do. While I appreciate the action-oriented nature of that, I have learned most from the comments about the problems that we're having. I've always thought it was part of the ethos of system dynamics, as one trained directly by Jay, that we should have a theory of a problem before we start advocating for solutions. So there's a lot of good ideas here, but it's very difficult for me to make sense of which of these are important or useful without understanding why we're in the problem we're here. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking. So anyway, with that, I will part. Thank you all for participating, and I look forward to seeing the tape of the rest of it.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, next.
Next person, Benjamin Turner.
Thank you for the opportunity to share. Can echo a lot of the good points already made, and to follow up on Brad said on trying to get back to keep focus on the problem at hand. Couple of observations that I would share is that in visiting with other people that may be interested in system dynamics, one of the turnoffs or things that make them less enthusiastic about picking it up and continuing in the development is they don't understand, it's not clear to them, often immediately, as it may be to us, what is the theory or what theoretical developments do system dynamics provide? Now we understand that as system dynamics provides an endogenous theory.
Sorry about that. I'll see if I can figure out who it is. Let's see.
We understand the theoretical development of system dynamics to be being able to explain behavior over time endogenously. But that is not clear oftentimes to people picking up that may even be enthusiastic about it. So, so that would be one observation. The other observation, more to the structure and some of the comments earlier about the institutions, is that even if someone like myself, who might be able to generate some enthusiasm and engagement with other faculty and programs on my campus, it is very easy to justify not doing anything about it because of department and college constraints, be it financial or curriculum related. And so there might be enthusiasm or there might be interest in it, but it's very easy to lean back and say, we don't have the time, the resources, the flexibility, and the degree programs, so on and so forth.
Great, that's helpful, Benjamin. Next.
Next person, Annie Sanchez.
It was Ellie. Let's see, I don't know if Ellie's here. I think, oh, Annie Sanchez Zaziega, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Anne, are you here? You're muted. I'm asking you to unmute. Okay, okay, Ain, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. First point is that, so I'm reading the chat from Ain. My first point is that I think that we should learn from universities that they are already working on SD courses, see what they are doing and the difficulties they have faced. Okay, so I'll capture that we need to know who is already doing this, or we need to learn from those. It's kind of two things here. We can know and learn from current programs. And then I'll just grab the second one. We should teach SD as a tool applicable in many other fields, so it should be included as a way of developing modules of other subjects. So I think this is a theme that we've seen about here, but need to teach as tool for many fields. Okay, great. Thank you. Next. Ricardo, next one.
Oh, sorry, got stuck.
Yeah, no worries.
The next one, Andre Botha.
Good evening, all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm also a practitioner with one foot in the education system, in the sense that I am a visiting lecturer. But what I've been observing is in South Africa, we've got many interesting departments who start system dynamics and who run system dynamics courses, going from environmental to engineering, management, business, but then also as far down as the medical schools. And myself, I mean, I come out of a chemical engineering background. I've done process control with system dynamics. You basically name the domain, I've applied system dynamics there. And what I see is that the schools or the universities that do have these programs, they tend to rely on dedicated professors, one or two, who basically get the program going and then convince the departments and convince the accreditation authority to accept this. And I see a lack of support for these people where, when they start looking for resources, the society is there, but it's expensive to join. It's also, there's no support at the university level itself that then, from the society side that says, as a university, these are the benefits for you to allow these people to continue this line. And I know, the benefits aren't just there, but the university, it's like what makes rockets fly, and it's money, not anything else. And I think in many universities, they suffer from the same problem, is that the thing that makes the university work is money. And so they've got to dance to whomever's the authority who's got the money at the moment. And, how do we convince them that there is benefit to doing this? Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Andre. Next.
Next person, Alessandro Rossi.
Alessandro, I see you here, you're muted. I will ask you to unmute. And if you want to chat instead of talk. Okay, he might be distracted by something else. Let's try the next person.
Okay, next person, Beruz.
Hello, hi. Yeah, I actually kind of put my point in the chat, but from a business school perspective, I think something that would be very, very important for students in business schools is applicability. And somebody mentioned before, taking this course, is it going to help me land a better job or land a job? If system dynamics is applied or applicable, they need to know about it. And then the question is, if it is applied, why don't they know about it already? So I think that would be where we should focus our attention on. What if it is applied, and we should also ask that, if it is applied, why do we need to convince people that it is applied?
Okay, that's helpful, Baris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person, Al Thibault.
Good morning. So related to 66, convincing funding agencies of the benefits of system dynamics and getting grants that specifically required SD models for use in the papers and the deliverables would be really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you, Al. That's an interesting avenue. Next.
Next person, Aklilu.
Yes, thank you. I would say from my perspective, mostly it's from the effectiveness of the methods, the techniques, and the tools that we use for either the teaching learning process or for learning on for our own too. So that effectiveness, I guess, need to be to a certain extent solved. And if we could address that, that might reduce part of the problem.
So are you saying, Aklilu, that you think that
the effectiveness of the methods, the techniques and the tools that we use for the teaching learning purpose?
Yeah. Are you saying that they're not effective enough?
To a certain extent, yes.
Okay, and can you give us some clue as to where you think it's lacking?
Well, from my own research and from the papers that I have evaluated, students often struggle to clearly understand the relation between, say, a structure and the resulting model behavior. The students do struggle how to explain what comes out from our models if they are assigned to system dynamics courses, or in others, how to even make it simple for kids that are in the K-12 courses, so that how they could get they can easily understand it. And a third option is even the way of delivery. We we often run out of, I mean, if we do not have resources like MJ has mentioned, if enough professors, how visible we are in terms of online tools. So do we have effective online materials that others could use, like MOOCs and others? So in general, the methods, the techniques, and the tools that are available to us for the teaching learning purpose.
Okay, thank you. I've captured a few here. I think that we need to improve the effectiveness of our tools, particularly around understanding that SD and our models are too difficult to understand. Perhaps our delivery needs improvement, need lack of support for people delivering tools, lack of good support. Okay, next.
Next person, Rafat Sain.
Rafat, are you here?
Yes, I am here, but my point was mentioned before, so.
Okay, so you're going to pass. Okay,
Yep.
Next.
Okay, next person, Agnes Inglot.
Yes, so I think a lot of my points were also discussed, but I definitely think we could either focus on how we want to include system dynamics or how it is like executed in the teaching. So when it comes to including, I think already engineering programs have so much they have to include from the industry. So I think it would be, I think a lot of, if they include system dynamic courses, it's usually just one course. And that is quite difficult because they compact so much, such as like the modeling, the theoretical, it is just a lot. And it also is very often implemented in a traditional studying or education format. So there's the final projects, and that is very good for first-time students who never experienced system dynamics. So I would say that including it in modules in other courses, and I had kind of as an idea that maybe using system dynamic models or causal loop diagrams or other forms to demonstrate other phenomena in different courses. So to introduce it earlier on in the education in a clever way so that it is like an educational tool.
Great, thank you. Thank you, that's helpful. So rather than trying to teach a course, trying to incorporate it into all courses. Next.
Perfect. Next, Paul Davidson.
Well, thank you very much. So there has been a talk of other academics not recognizing system dynamics. I think there is a more fundamental question here, and I don't know how to address it, but that is the lack of recognition of the true nature of comprehensive problems that we urgently need to address. In other words, other people do not recognize the properties of those problems that we are able to address. And you could say, if they knew about system dynamics, maybe it would be easier for them to recognize what those problems really are. But I think the more fundamental issue is they don't really know what the nature of those problems. And therefore, there is no need for system dynamics, they think.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, that's helpful, Paul. Thank you. Next.
Next person, Erling.
Hello. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I made a couple of points in the chat. Once employed in the university, it's my experience that it's quite easy to develop new courses. And we have found that high quality and popular courses attract both internal students and external students through the use of MOOCs. So that seems to be, that's something that seems more doable than many other things you try to do in university. I may, if I can add one more point, it's also my experience that it's much more fruitful to see contact with faculty that are problem oriented and that are not lost in theory and are so in love with their own theory that they don't listen.
Okay. Yep, great. That's very helpful, Erling. Thank you.
Okay, next person, Said Langarudi.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So many of the points I wanted to mention are already mentioned. I especially would like to reemphasize points 9, 12, 13, 24, 28, and 55. To respond to Paul's comment regarding that people do not recognize these important problems, I think for that to happen, we first need to get there. We need to have a critical mass in academia first to be able to redefine those problems or make those problems to be recognized. In my view, the challenge is that that we do not train enough PhDs who are willing to take academic positions. And in my view, the problem is that our education is too much focused on techniques, and we are not trained to appreciate other disciplines. We are not trained to kind of like try to embrace the theories from other disciplines. These are all significant problems that we need to address in our education. That's all.
Okay, great. That's all. That was a lot. Okay, so we have 4 different ones, 81 to 84. We don't have critical mass in academia. We don't train PhDs willing to take academic positions. Our education is too focused on techniques, and we are not trained to embrace theories from other disciplines. Next.
Okay, next person, Mike Bratsiski.
Hello, everybody. So I just took a bite of my sandwich. It's lunchtime here when you called my name. Thoughts here. I don't disagree with anything really. My thought that, at least in the United States, probably worldwide, universities are organized around traditional disciplines and departments and what have you. So when somebody retires, let's take my field of economics. If somebody retires, takes another job, the program's growing, the department head doesn't come into a department meeting and say, for the love of God, we've got to hire a system dynamicist. He or she will say, for the love of God, we have to hire another labor economist, development economist, or what have you, right? So they're looking for somebody in the discipline, not somebody with a particular tool.
Mm-hmm.
So the fix there is to have people like, well, me, I guess, attend conferences and provide workshops where there are economists who would be interested in system dynamics. Not all economists are the same. There are different schools of thinking in economics. So the post-Keynesians do stock flow consistent modeling. They use difference equations, but they're open to what we have to say. The institutional economists focus on circular and cumulative causation, but do no modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Behavioral economists do dynamic modeling with difference equations, but produce models that are pretty much devoid of feedback. So we have to go to those conferences and put on workshops and say, hey, we can work together. And let's create some real economists who also have this system dynamic skill set. And then when the chair says we have to hire a development economist, we know where to look for the right kind of development economists.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, next person, Monique Ann.
Hi. In addition to number 5,
And I think someone in the chat also reiterated this. It might help if we have data on employment, perhaps graduates or practitioners pursuing SD in their workplace or as a career. I think universities tend to promote employment stats of their graduates.
Okay, that's helpful, Monique. Thank you.
Okay, next person, Richard Dudley.
Yeah, I found a lot of the comments people have made, things I agree with, in particular, the idea of where at a university does system dynamics belong. And in my university, there are probably 10 different departments where it would be a reasonable place to be. And it actually is nowhere. We have one person who teaches one course in system dynamics, but we have people all over the place who could use it, in my opinion. So one of the problems I think that we face is that existing paradigms in these different quantitative fields use their own tools. So economists have their own tools, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them will say, oh, we already do that, we do it this way. And of course, in engineering, they have tools. We do have a systems engineering department, but it's only at the PhD level. Ecologists have their own tools. Fisheries, my field, have a bunch of quantitative tools they use, and they feel they don't need that. So I think that idea of presenting things at different meetings where you go, that they have their own tool, but you present something that uses system dynamics in a way that they can see some options that might be helpful is important. I have a bunch of scribbles here now. So engineering and sustainability, of course, is another field. The other question I wonder about is within the university programs, at what level do you want to incorporate that system dynamics training? And for me, it should start early as possible. And to do that, it has to be, I think, in a department, as someone said, similar to statistics. It's a tool, I guess. It's more than a tool, but it's a way of looking at things, a way of analyzing systems, the same way statistics is used to analyze data. And I think it's important also to have not just it be a tool for making models, but for analyzing what you've modeled, analyzing the systems. So I think that's something that has to be emphasized in the teaching. So we see it as a tool for understanding rather than just making a model. I think that's probably all I have right now.
Thank you, Richard. Next.
Next person, Nikki Zimmerman.
I'm sorry, Ricardo, I interrupted you. I think we want to try to, if we can, we're going to start to run out of time. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to talk, which I don't think has happened yet. So once we kind of start back around again, let's stop. I don't know how many more we have.
We have three people left.
Great. Okay.
Okay. Next, Nikki Zimmerman.
It's yours, Megan. Sorry.
Hi. Yeah, so I think there are some doors that are already half open. That's what I notice in my teaching, and kind of, so there are certain kind of disciplines, for example. I mean, that's a point that already came up, that are very open to system dynamics. So for example, people like interested in like public purpose, in sustainability, people like interested like from a psychological perspective in behavior change. So those, I think, are the easy targets, and connecting with these, I think, will be a lot, like, achieve great results a lot easier than, for example, trying to convince, like, sorry if I'm taking the example of like the standard economist or like some type of engineers. So although, for example, I run my course in like an engineering program, hardly any like engineering people take it. I mean, they all come from other programs. So I think these half open doors, and then kind of, so letting just people participate, plus like a lot of enthusiasm, So I guess if you transport your method with a lot of enthusiasm and belief in it, that's also like where everybody can make a personal, push a personal door open with their colleagues and getting more acceptance.
Great, thank you, Nikki.
Next person is Steven Peterson.
So I came in late and have missed most of the conversation. I apologize for that. I'd offer that at Dartmouth, where I teach part-time system dynamics course, there seems to be some good leverage, first of all, with an environmental studies minor, and also with a design thinking minor on campus. And that seems to attract students from those places. Those are both cross-disciplinary to some extent, and that may have some value as you all are thinking about things.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. So I think we are done. The next one was Suzanne Parcel, but I think she wrote some things in the chat, but she needs to left.
Okay. If you have more to add that you feel didn't get up here, go ahead and put it in the chat. We're not going to capture it here. But go ahead and put it in the chat and we will make use of it. What we'd like to do right now is invite you into the Miro board. We don't want you to change anything in the Miro board, but what we're going to do is just start a vote. Hopefully you've been writing down the numbers that you're interested in, and I'm going to open up a vote. You'll see there is the link there. And in one moment, I will have a vote where you can pick, oops, I'm pushing the wrong thing, where you'll be able to pick your, the 5 issues that you think are the most important for us to consider and focus on. I know that's going to be a hard choice, but I am starting that vote right now. So if you're in there, go ahead and join that voting.
Rebecca, can you specify whether they should vote on where they talk about the issues or where the clusters are?
Right now we're voting on the individual issues. So go over, you should see a bunch of X's that popped up on the board that Megan and I were adding to. And you should be able to just select the ones that that you think we need to focus on. If you're having any trouble with it, write something in the chat and the team will try to help you. You just click that plus sign on the 5 that you had, and then you have a minute left to do that. If you're having any trouble, let us know. I should have, that's what I should have done. Okay. If you're over by the elephant, you want to move over to the right. If you're on a huge list of names, you want to move over to the right. If you're seeing a bunch of stickies with titles around them, you're going to want to move to the left. Okay, Sean, I will vote for you. I might be able to get you guys, I think I set it so that you guys went into the wrong place. Okay. Okay, we have voting sort of all over the place here. I don't know how many people actually managed to do it. What I'd like to do now is kind of bring us to a higher level. If you feel like your vote didn't make it in, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to Fernando, who will very quickly go over some clusters, and we will ask you guys to vote on those clusters as well, where you think
Sure. Do you want me to share, Rebecca, or can
Yeah,
you
if you want, or I can make it bigger.
I'll just share so I can just
Okay,
go
yeah,
on my
you can
speed.
move around.
So basically, me and Raquel, we found out basically 9 clusters. One related to marketing the field and what SD can do. Another one is teaching delivery, how we teach in universities and what kind of materials we use. There is also a cluster on support from uni managers and stakeholders on how the faculty and other stakeholders can help getting more programs in universities. Another cluster is curriculum and fit, so it's more related to what kind of programs and studies can use system dynamics in their teachings. And another one is teaching focus. So what exactly in system dynamics can we use to teach in universities? Another one is partnerships, so getting partners from outside the universities and also in universities, such as companies using system dynamics. So there is one about categorization and evaluation, and one career related. So basically about the jobs and being more clear of what can I do if I study system dynamics. And there was a comment about the society membership being too expensive. And please don't move things around. I'll be glad to just keep that way.
Okay, and let's see. Okay, let's see. I think the vote isn't going to work as we expected.
Oops.
Sorry about that. It's not grouping them together. So let me try. Fernando, can you very quickly just copy the titles with me, ungroup and do the titles, and we'll let you vote 3 votes. I just need the titles separate somewhere.
Would it be easier to do it on Zoom?
It might be. I don't know how many people are able to get into this.
Yeah, we have a bunch of comments saying it's difficult.
Okay. Can you very quickly, you probably can't put it in Zoom. Fernando, can you actually put them into the Zoom real quick?
Yeah, let me just,
I don't know if we can do that.
Because I don't see my edit bar here. Polls, create one.
So we'll create a quick poll so you can do, although the only problem is I think you can only vote for your top one there, Fernando. Can you make it so you can vote for more than one in Zoom? We might need to do a poll.
I'll need some 2 minutes.
Okay, we might be better off in poll everywhere unless you can't. I'll do it simultaneously and poll everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I
can with us for a moment and look at Fernando's screen and think about which, if you had 3 dots, where you would put those. You could put them all on one thing, saying this is what we really need to tackle and think about, or you can spread them across a number of things.
Fernando's not sure.
Yeah, you guys don't have to see this. I'm just doing the poll right now.
I'll share. If I can find Zoom. And you're in there, so you can also peek around on your own if you're inside there and can find the area where they are. If you're in there, you can zoom and look into each of those categories. And feel free to chat as well in the chat. We're going to be reading through all of that as well. If you've got more you want to say.
I'm launching the poll.
Okay, great. Can they answer 3 times or only once?
Multiple times.
Okay, great. So Fernando's got this up. It should have popped up on your screen, and you should have 3 votes. So where you think are the most important things to really dig down into and understand in order to best address penetration in universities. Where do you think we should focus? Okay, there are a few different areas emerging. We have 33 people, so there's still 10 other people. I don't know if people are having, I assume you can all see this and reply. So it looks like support from university managers and stakeholders is something we really need to think about and understand a little bit better, how we can define a better curriculum and make sure it fits correctly. And then this teaching focus. And then maybe marketing the field. Fernando, can you just go and give us a summary of those 3, starting with, so it's support, you can see what they are, right? Support from managers, just let people zoom in and look at what's included in those so that we understand what they are. And then we'll be done in a few minutes. Oh, actually, let's not do that because we only have 3 minutes. So you guys can actually go in and move yourself around this board. We're gonna change it so you can't edit it shortly, but you should still be able to get in with the link. And if not, Fernando will send the link around again for you. So look for it in your email. What we'd like to do now, I guess, is I'd like to turn it over to Ricardo Salinas and Megan, who have put together a little survey to kind of think about how we move forward. So Ricardo, if you want to talk about what we're, sort of where we're going, and Megan, if you can get the survey ready.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Rebecca. Thanks a lot for your participation, because this was the first step to understand a very complex problem. So this is our idea of trying to understand the problem. And after that, we try to make some action items. Once that we have the categories and the voting, so we can create like an innovation team which addresses these type of problems in a systemic way. And that way we can prioritize what you guys have discussed. So I think that will be very interesting if you want to participate in this part, or just be into knowing what is going on in the innovation team that is going to be formed. I think you're muted, Rebecca.
All right, I muted myself. Thank you. So Megan has put in the chat a link to just a quick sign up form to let us know if you just want to be informed of what's going on, or whether you want to participate in the innovation team, or whether you might like to take a leadership role in that innovation team as we move forward. So if you could fill that out and or just put something in the chat so that we know and can get in touch with you, that would be great. I am also, for Paul, putting in the Miro link again right now so that you can poke around and look in there. And if anyone has any questions, let us know. It's 12:30, so we're going to end, but this is just the beginning. So thank you for joining us.
Just a reminder to save the chat, Rebecca, so we have a record.
Right.
And I just want to thank everyone for participating in this event. I think it was really helpful to have your perspectives. I think we had a lot of new insights from your different roles and your different experiences that you were able to share with us. So we are hoping that we can, create this university innovation team so that we can move forward. So I included a link where you can sign up.
Can you just clarify how much of a commitment you're envisioning this to be? Because I mean, I'm interested, but I'm nervous about the fact that I'm overcommitted.
Is this Juliet speaking? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I think we haven't determined that, but like you can put notes in this thing about like how much time you're willing to commit. What we're trying to do, we're experimenting with new ways to bring volunteers together to make progress. And so it's very fluid. If you want to act in a review capacity or just be informed or, want to give an hour a month, let us know. And we'll see if we can design something because we would very much like to have you involved, Juliet. You're obviously an experienced person in this respect.
There's a statement of interest text box within the form where you can describe that a little bit more.
Yeah, so Sandeep, you're asking what's next. If you could complete this form, if you're interested in participating more fully, just giving us an idea of how you're interested in participating. Like, for example, Len Melchinsky is already committed to pulling together curriculum. And we've got a couple of other little projects going on, and we're just trying to build a team so that we can move these together more quickly than even our new larger office can manage. So we're trying to do a lot of stuff here and figuring out ways to move it forward. Thanks, Rafat. And thank you everyone for participating. This has really helped because I think none of us, I mean, at least, well, Raquel and Fernando have at least participated as students in academia, but I'm at a real disadvantage. So this was really, really helpful. I think for Megan too, you participated as a student as well. So. Yes, academium, Rafat. We're hoping you're going to participate a little bit in this, Rafat. It's obviously related to learning and stuff. So there's a really great thing going on at WPI that's been delayed a little bit related to figuring out how we can share courses across different universities so that we can make it easier for people to get them taught in their universities. And Rafat has been spearheading that with Mike Rudzicki. And Birgit's been involved a little bit. So there's nothing more to do other than ideally, filling out the form just to indicate interest.
I just want to mention also that this tool Miro is a great way to virtually engage stakeholders in identifying these issues as you've seen us do today. And these are ways that we can do participatory approaches to system dynamics. If you want to learn more about these processes, we have some books, affiliate books, for example, community-based system dynamics and group model building in our shop if you're interested in learning more.
Yeah. And there's also
other tools are also more modern, so they won't be in those books, but we can share more resources in the future about this.
There's actually a recent SDR model by Birgit Kopansky and team et al. I don't remember who all the et als are, but where she talks about using Miro for systems work. And she provides templates. We just started playing around with it. We may be able to set it up so that we make this available to other members as well. So we're experimenting with that. So any other thoughts, reach out. Megan is spearheading this effort from the office, kind of moving it along. So if you have questions or Eduardo, are you talking about the paper, the Miro article? Raquel, are you still on here? Can you find the link to Birgit's paper on Miro? It was like one issue ago, I think. Are you here?
I can check. I'm not exactly sure which one of these is.
I think it has Miro in the title.
Okay. Sure.
If I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. It might be like something in the face of COVID, like changing in the face of COVID.
Well, thanks everyone. I'm leaving. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Megan.
Okay, Fernando,
It was very good discussion.
Fernando, can you grab the chat and the
Yeah, I already put in the folder.
okay, and the live transcription and get those out to people along with the Miro link, which I'm going to change. I'll give you a new Miro link, which will change it probably to view only.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
So I put a link to the Bergen site. They have their resources on there, the
Oh,
Miro
thank you.
templates and presentations and such.
So if you go to Christine's link a little ways up, that gives you a link to even more than we were going to give you in the SDR article.
Where is the link? Okay, now.
Got it? Yeah, that'll give you all the resources. They've done a really nice job there of pulling it all together to make it accessible to other people, which is really nice of them.
Sorry, but what's that? That link brought me to the book of the book of Hoffman.
No, up higher here. I'll put it in there again. The one that Christine did brings you to the Miro one. I'll put it in again there for you.
Ah, the online one. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, sorry. My copy paste didn't work.
Oh, no, it was my fault. Okay, thank you.
You got it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Oh, did we stop recording? Did we record?
Bye-bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
I think perhaps when Fernando left, the recording stopped. I'm not sure.
Okay, that could be because I don't see it.
At
But I
one
remember
point
it.
he did put record.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember
not
it
sure if
saying
it
it. Yeah, I remember it saying it was recorded, but I'm not stopping it right now. So.
Yeah, I still see that it is recording
Oh, you're saying that it's recording? I don't.
Yes.
I'm
right
not.
now.
Let me.
Oh, wait, in the corner it does
okay,
say
there.
recording.